I often say in my videos I'm not a fan of the Communist Party of China, which sparks doubts from many. If you don't like the CPC, why not leave China? I don't know what's in their heads. I live in my country, where my ancestors lived for thousands of years before the CPC existed. Why should I leave? With 100 million CPC members, should the other 1.3 billion Chinese leave too? I'm not a fan of the CPC, but I don't deny it has governed China well for decades. I hate some CPC policies, but I'm not the president or head of the National People's Congress. I don't even know my hometown's county chief. As an ordinary person, if I went to the US, could I like all their policies? If I disagreed, could I change their government? Would US senators or congressmen know me? Some fools ask, your videos praise China, hoping China wins everything. And you don't want the CPC to collapse like the Soviet Union. Yet you claim you don't like the CPC? I'm Chinese, and no matter my country's flaws or challenges, as long as it doesn't bully neighbors or harm humanity's interests, I'll love and support it unconditionally. As a Chinese person, in China and US competition, should I root for the US? If China wins, the economy grows, society's wealth increases. I may not divide the pie, but I'll get crumbs, right? If the US wins, what do I gain? Will Americans cut me a slice, label it democracy fighter, and ship it to China? I've posted many real videos about China, and I'm honest. China's economy hasn't been as strong lately. But living in China, I can visit first-tier cities or rural areas, and my camera doesn't capture a picture of economic collapse or widespread misery. Should I claim China is collapsing to please those who want it to fail? My videos show first-tier cities, third-tier cities, fifth-tier cities, and rural areas, from developed Suzhou to China's average. You expecting China's collapse? Take your cameras, film your local life, post it on YouTube for comparison. Does China's state count as collapse? Fine, say China has collapsed, at least in your mouths. It's done for. So where should I flee? To the US? If everyone could go to the US, wouldn't it be overcrowded? Okay, suppose I could go. Where do the other 1.3 billion Chinese, minus 100 million CPC members, go? Even without family or friendship ties, would I want my compatriots in a collapsed nation? I travel across China and know most Chinese are hardworking and kind. Their intelligence matches Americans. Their education is no worse. Their work intensity is several times higher. How could they lose to Americans in an economic and technological contest? Explain that. Can rednecks relying on calculators for basic math and chanting MAGA slogans compete with Chinese workers and farmers? Honestly, China's government made mistakes, like hyping China made 2025, exposing strength too early, or adopting wolf warrior diplomacy, worsening China and US relations, forcing China into premature confrontation. But we didn't expect the US to be so weak. By Trump's boasts of sanctions, China's tech should be locked down and stagnant. Phones, laptops, TVs, fridges, ACs, cars, ships, planes, all chip-dependent products, should be unproducible, and military tech should regress. Yet, China hasn't collapsed in the tech war. Even Huawei, targeted by US sanctions, survives and thrives. Chinese firms keep challenging the US in chips and AI, areas of US strength. Even US elites like Jensen Huang admit China isn't behind in AI, with a small gap. In hardware, where Chinese firms excel, the US has little resistance. GoPro, once a hit, is near bankruptcy facing DJI and Insta360. Chinese firms dominate drones, robots, electric vehicles. China controls rare earths and shipbuilding, critical for national security. US tech sanctions on China are reduced to Trump's bluster, while China's rare earths trouble the US. Macroeconomic data shows China's 2025 first quarter growth at 5.4%, stellar among major economies, while the US is at negative 0.5%. The US debt crisis remains unresolved, with the debt ceiling repeatedly raised, creating an unmanageable bubble. Trump's America First policy lost allies' firm support, failing to defeat China, making allies hesitant to pick sides, risking China's wrath. The Russia-Ukraine war traps the US, with Russia stabilizing after heavy costs, its people harboring deep resentment. Israel's tragedies in the Middle East taint the US as an accomplice. The US faces poor internal and external conditions. If most nations stay neutral in China and US competition, the US will lose in a one-on-one duel. Easterners are hardworking, with fierce competition in East Asia and top global per capita intelligence. Southeast Asia is rapidly developing. The Asian century is coming. So where should I go if I leave China? New Zealand, Canada, or Australia for gardening sounds nice. But as a Chinese person overseas, doesn't a stronger China benefit me more? If you're Indian, which country earns respect abroad? I remind those praising the CPC in my channel comments. Your happy life comes from your efforts. In trouble, only family helps. The party won't notice your struggles. To those hoping for China's collapse, especially Chinese wishing for its disintegration, don't post stupid comments on my channel. If you hate your Chinese genes, follow Michael Jackson's example and surgically become white. Stop lecturing me on how to think. I believe my intelligence isn't lower than yours.